What's up, guys? This is Justinspiretv. It is another beautiful Wake Your Ass Up Wednesday, and this is the Arroyo interview. Alright, guys, so here, Arroyo, my boy, my pal, my childhood friend. We have known each other since 2, 3. I mean, when I moved 3 houses down from here, and then we were friends since 5 or 6. Too young, man. Yeah, too young to really know how old we were. I mean, we played with Hot Wheels on this very floor, so it was a big deal. Just because when I heard what Matt's got going on, and it kind of made me reminisce on who Matt was and how I remember him as a kid, and what I remember is anything this guy did, he learned it inside and out. Whether it be cars, because we know you got into cars, whether it be guns or computers, it's like he was gonna understand it very, very thorough. In my mind, I mean, really, in my mind, it was like I'm gonna learn it inside and out, and I think that is what's special about you and how you're gonna use that to whatever is in front of you and what you're passionate about. So thank you for doing this, man. I appreciate you being a part of this.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me on the show. Justinspiretv, it's a great opportunity. So I got a lot of things that I'm working on right now, so I'm looking forward to talking about that. So I appreciate it, man. Let me come on.
Awesome. So let's get into the first question, guys. And so what I want to ask is, and I want you to tell everybody else, is where are you at in your life right now? What has brought you to that point, and what is inspiring you? What is getting you up in the morning? Let's start there.
So I guess I'll start with what I do for a living. I've been a nurse, ICU nurse, for about 2.5 years now. Wasn't my first career choice, as Justin mentioned. I was formerly an auto mechanic. I did a little bit of combination welding. I knew my life needed a different direction at that time. I didn't really know what that was. I felt like a gravitational type of pull that I needed something different and a big change. So I think what I was lacking at that time, and I don't even know if I could really articulate at that time, was the human element of life and sharing experiences with other individuals. I think that's something that I find very fulfilling. I think that's something that brings me satisfaction. I think that's what initially drew me to nursing. I was in school at the time. I still didn't really know why I chose that career. I knew it would be a stable career, but at the same time, I began to see myself in the role when clinical started, and I started having experience in the hospital.
Yeah.
I started, seeing myself in the role as a nurse, and at that time I also started doing some volunteer work and just getting involved in more community type of activities, and that was the huge step for me, in a sense that it provided me something that wasn't a monetary incentive, but it was purely something that was personal and something that I felt a connection with. So that's
Initially, when you got into nursing, was it the monetary financial aspect? It's like, hey, this pays well. I can do this, or what was it there?
I don't think it was necessarily that. Like I said, I think there was it was a good job market for it. I knew being in Houston, Texas, I would be able to get a job coming out of school, and I would have a stability, because the issue with auto mechanics in my past careers was commission based. You had ups and downs, and so it was just a struggle to have constant income.
No, that's understandable. And so there was nothing profound yet whenever you jumped into nursing.
No, not at all. When I started going to clinicals, I started seeing other nurses and how they worked, and like I said, I started getting physically involved, and I was like, oh wow, I can see myself doing this. I can see where there's a need for this, and that I can fulfill that need.
Yeah.
And kind of just took off from there, and once the first day on the job, then I really knew what I was doing there, but I can't really honestly say that, initially I knew why I was becoming a nurse. I just knew there was something pulling me that direction.
Yeah.
I went with it, I went with that, and it's been an amazing experience so far, and something that's definitely going to be one of the most memorable and best decisions that I've made.
And also, at what point of being a nurse, what kind of experience did you have whenever you started this new job, this new path, that was like, hey, I like, this feels right? this feels good. I mean, and the first thing I asked you about being a nurse, like, oh, what's the craziest thing you've seen, or there's stories to tell.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
sure.
I think that's a common question. I don't know if I have any one example. It's more of a collective, experiences that I've had. Being in the ICU, obviously, I see a lot of different sides of life. A lot of people that don't. It could be their worst, literally the worst part of their life, or, people get better, so you just never know.
Yeah.
And I think it's taught me a lot, especially the older I get, is how much I really don't know, what I mean? And to kind of really don't have expectation, but just know that anything can happen in this universe, and, you just don't know which direction it's going to go. And I like that, it's humbling, it's, something that gives you more thirst, to go further in that direction and gain more knowledge and things like that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I agree with that. And also, you're somewhere, you said being in the ICU, just what pops in my head is these are critical times for people. It can go somewhere very dark very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depending on what they're experiencing, or, what their ailment is.
Or it could get better.
Or it's like, hey, here's my second chance at life. So here are you, going into a new path, and feeling this is like, hey, this is feeling good, this is feeling right, and you're seeing other people kind of at these crossroads in their life, and definitely. I think there's something to that. There's some things to be learned from that, and also you said you got into some other type of work. What was that again?
Some volunteering work. Yeah, just seeking out experiences outside of either work or school. And initially I was. An individual mentor of mine when I was in school, her name was Jenny. She's the one who initially suggested that I start volunteering, and she's like, oh, look good on your resume. And so we sat down, we were like, oh, what would you like to do? Oh, I'd like to go to the cancer center. That's something I was interested in at the time. Still am.
And it started out with just, hey, it's going to look good on a resume.
Yeah, exactly. But what's funny about that was immediately after I started going there, I was like, this is something that I actually want to do, like regardless of resume, regardless if I'm a student or I'm working. It quickly became something that I was really drawn to. In fact, that was one of the most memorable experiences, before I was a nurse or as a nursing student, was the volunteering I was doing on my own time, because I would go up there and you see these people, they didn't choose to be there. They come from all ages, literally all walks of life, from all over the place, and they're like the most positive people that you'll ever meet. Like, they're always positive. Their attitudes are great. The
volunteers.
No, the patients.
The patients.
Yeah, the patients up there at the cancer center. They're just tremendous people. And then, of course, you volunteer, you meet people that you'd never meet any other way, that you just cross paths with. You hear their stories. But the patients especially, just walking in, them telling you their stories, how they got there. Their teacher. Now they're fighting for their lives. And they're just like the most positive. Influential people, and that was very humbling experience that I still participate in. But it's like and so it's I think everything's through a human network. She suggested that, and that was a key player. But then it's like a snowballing effect. You meet other people. Oh, why don't you come volunteer here? Why don't you go check this out? And it's just the human network to me is like the most important thing. Having people around you that are positive, surrounding you in your life, because I really believe that you take on the attributes of the people that are around you. So if you hang out with positive, inspirational people, you're going to take on those attributes. Versus you hang out with losers, you're going to take on those attributes.
No, most definitely. And so one thing I wanted to ask was the patients. The cancer, was it terminal, or was there?
You just don't know. You don't.
Okay.
You don't know. They're there for treatment. They might be going home. They might not. They might go home. A few months later come back. You just never know. These people's stories, they're really just random.
Okay.
They can be young people, old people. It's
and I guess I wondered, because I feel like that would also change the perspective.
Absolutely.
For them. But whenever you're connecting with people doing these types of things where you kind of jump into, that is something that I have fell in love with also. Whenever I started this, I went back in, so last week's video, we kind of did a little rewind back to the first episode, and I'm looking through my phone, and it was a little over a year ago now, and it was me talking about what Justinspiretv was gonna be. It's like, at first I had to tell the world what it was, and it was like, oh, it's a conversation, and I think it moved direction where I'm talking in front of the camera, and then a year later, it's funny because I've come full circle now, and now I'm interviewing people, and this is like a new chapter. It feels really good, but it's definitely, it needs to be a conversation for me. I wanted to connect with people in a positive way, you know, and I've met some people along the way, and it's had some great conversations, and that to me is the coolest part. That to me is become, my idea of success has changed a little bit, because it's like that is what that's what I feel like I'm missing, and that's what I feel like we're all chasing, whether it be through material things or we're looking for security in a job, and it's like, hey, I found this other thing that means so much more.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and also last when we talked a little bit about law of attraction, and I thought that was interesting, because you felt you needed something a little bit more, and you're digging, and then you fall into these experiences, and it's, hey, I got pulled here.
Yeah.
You know, like something drew me here.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is exactly what it is I'm looking for. And so I would like to get into what the volunteering you're doing right now.
So I think it's a perfect example of that is about two and a half years ago, right when I started working, I was still, volunteering and, reaching out, and I was really, like you're saying, I was putting out this energy, wanting to help people, wanting to do more, wanting to do something productive with my time, and it's not that there's anything wrong with just going to work and coming home, but, sometimes you're just looking to make a change, and you don't necessarily know what that change is at the time.
I need something a little bit more.
Yeah, and so my good friends, the Lagan brothers, actually suggested one time, they were like, hey man, come to this Christian concert, one of our buddies is playing there, and we went to high school with them, but I didn't know him at that time. And so I went down there, I don't listen to Christian music, but I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. And I went down there, and the music was good, everything was good, and they actually had like an interlude where they played a reel for a nonprofit organization called LoveBot. And, they were talking about, orphans living in the street, living in the sewers, and immediately I was like, it clicked. I had read about something similar to that a few years prior, and I'm like, this is Colombia they're talking about. And sure enough, that was a region that they were talking about. And so after the show, I was leaving, and I saw like a booth. They had some merchandise, and I had some money in my pocket. I just gave it to him, whatever. But the name stuck with me because it was called LoveBot, and I'm like, that's a peculiar name, you know what I mean? Like, so I went home, I looked it up. I just started, making small contributions to them, like on a monthly basis. And after a very short period of time, a few months later, an individual contacted me. And he was actually the founder of the nonprofit, him and his wife, and they were like, why don't we meet up for dinner? We don't know who you are, we'd like to get to know you, see, who you are. So we met up, and immediately I felt connected to this individual. Like, I felt like we had a lot in common, and his everything he says is like really strong. He has very strong points that he makes, and I was. His cause already had drawn me to it. There was no reason for him to have to sell me on anything. I was just like,
I'm here. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So we're still in contact today. I still participate with that organization. It's an organization that I feel very, very connected with, and they do excellent things. So they actually began in 2007. Him and his wife were operating a soup kitchen in Colombia, and they were feeding orphans meals. So they did this for several years. They got to know the individuals on the ground, the kids, the culture. And, one day Mike, being the great guy that he is, he was like, this really isn't good enough. This isn't a sustainable change. And in 2013, he was like, we're going to start a nonprofit, with the money in my pocket. And we're going to build an orphanage for these kids. And
decided he was going to do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike... The only way I can describe him is him and his wife are, eccentric, extreme, almost at times irrational, but I believe those are the people that really make the changes in this world, is people like that.
And willing to make that jump also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they have this ambition. At every...
people are going to say, oh, what do you can't do that, And even people you love and respect, they might,
Sometimes those are the people that... I don't want to say watch out for, because that sounds kind of weird saying about people you love or relatives or something like that, and your closest friends. But those opinions mean the most to you.
Yeah,
the people
absolutely.
dearest to us.
Big influence
and so if they think a certain way, which might be negative, or hey, you can't just go start an orphanage, or you can't just go, start this or that. That may impact you and steer you in the wrong direction. I think.
Absolutely. They have a great amount of influence on your life and on your choices. But like I've read in a couple of books of individuals that started nonprofits, it's like they had the same conflict, the same kind of opposition at the time, yet they pressed forward and they're like, no, they were so set on doing this and thinking it, talking it, doing it into reality, and it's hard work and dedication. There's no easy way.
Obsession.
Yeah, an obsession.
Sometimes, yeah.
Absolutely an obsession, but what a great obsession to have. What a great gift, to have. So, and to share with the world. So, I mean, when I met Mike and his wife just 2.5 years ago, they just purchased 4.5 acres outside of Bogota in a rural community called Swacha. Today we have a full. I say we, but we have an orphanage that's already built. It's furnished. We're in the process of hiring faculty, staff members. And we want to do it right. Our philosophy is quality, not quantity. It's not let's meet the bare minimum expectations. Let's give kids a couple of meals and a roof over their head.
Right.
It's a sustainable change. One thing that's unique about LoveBot is that we're not going to age kids out. Most all orphanages, they have an age limit, 16 to 18. They age out. They got to go out into the world. That's not who we are. That's not what we're looking to do. That's not our philosophy. And we're willing to do whatever it takes. We're willing to pay staff members well, like a job that they would have in town, versus what the other orphanages are going to pay staff members, because we want to. Our goal is to really transform these kids into sons and daughters, and not just orphans and taking care of them necessarily, or meeting their needs, but transforming them,
productive members of society, and really turn their life around, rather than just give them somewhere to sleep and some food, because. It's like, what do they do after that?
Exactly.
There's obviously more to life than just food and shelter.
Absolutely.
And so now, where is your place in LoveBot? How are you providing? Because it started off, you were just giving money. Maybe you're giving quite a bit. They wanted to meet you. Now what is it that you're doing?
Just support in any way that I can. I always contact Mike. We meet up on a monthly or quarterly meetings, and I'm constantly always like, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And he's always like, you're good, man. You're good. But I'm always just trying to get involved with him. Whether it be participating in fundraising events or just trying to spread word of mouth. That's partly why I'm doing this interview. I think it's a great opportunity to use this platform to kind of get the word out there and hopefully reach the hearts of some people out there watching. So just anything and everything. Just trying to get my foot, get more involved, because it's something that I feel strongly about, and it's I think it's all working out for the best. 2 years ago, I would have never seen myself doing this interview right now. Partly just watching Joe's interview kind of inspired me. Like I should do this. I should just. Bite the bullet and just get out there. And a couple of books that I read, just seeing these individuals, and especially Mike is a perfect example. There's no secret recipe. There's no. It takes time. It takes practice, and I think I'm willing to put in the work to help help these kids. Because the way I see it is, these kids are over there. They're in the dirt right now. They don't have a home. They don't have a voice. You know what I mean? Yeah. So really. You're willing to be that voice. Yeah, I have to be the voice. So, anything that I can do to help the cause and to help to get the word out there, because we're 100% funded by private donors, like myself, possibly the viewers out there, and
that's got to be difficult. You ask people for money, right?
That's the only way. It's private donations, and so there's obviously a lot of work that goes into that, a lot of planning that goes into that, and but like I said, we've come this far, but we're not stopping now. Mike's not stopping now. He's an exceptional guy. We've already looked into the plans of the school that we're going to build on the site, and start raising money for that. So we're in the process right now of obtaining the children through their government bureaucracy called the ICBF. They're responsible for providing the children, and we've already got the approval. We've already had the building inspected. We're just waiting on the children to be there, which will be this year. So we got a lot of big things coming this year. We're looking to launch maybe a private coffee line,
Wow.
Mike's in contact with some...
Right up my alley.
Oh yeah, Colombian coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike's in contact with the grower over there,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're looking to see weigh our costs and everything, see if it'd be worth it for us to open up a private coffee line for Love Bot.
Yeah.
We're also, starting to look towards the school. That's the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
With 32 children in there, we're going to be looking to educate them, teach them reading and writing. These kids are going to have, who knows, what they're coming from. They come from, the streets, literally.
Exactly.
So, but really our main focus is on the children and providing for them, and not just, like I said, not just meeting their needs, but, going above and beyond.
And also, so where do we see, we've touched on this just a little bit before, but so where do we see all this going? What is the end goal? Because it's like the orphanage is coming, you said you took coffee line, school, what is the end result? And where do you see yourself involved in Love Bot?
The second question, I'm not too sure yet. I really don't know where this is going to take me. I'm willing to kind of just ride the wave, and see where it takes me. It's very interesting. It's something that I feel passionate about, and I think it's important that you feel passionate about the things that you're doing. I think that makes
Definitely.
the biggest difference. You really can't go anywhere if you have some type of you're trying to gain something from it versus a passion that you're having where you're just doing it with no...
Just experiencing something organic, like this feels right,
Exactly.
I'm going to jump into this.
Exactly.
And so you're just going to, like you said, kind of ride that wave, which, I can definitely vibe with that, getting sober. It's like, okay, what is it that I feel like I needed to do? I need to jump. It's like, okay, I'm right in front of me in this very moment. I know exactly what I need to do. I need to put this down. This is not doing it for me. I need something more. And then it turned into I watch YouTubers inspiring people, and it just I would do that so much that a lot of times I would zone out and I would hear myself speaking. And for the longest time, I remember thinking that I wanted to inspire people. Even in high school, I remember I went to the summer before my senior year. I was at like a drug counseling thing with some other young kids, and they asked us, it was a lot of therapy, and they asked us one time, what would you like to be remembered for? And there was some other guys, and they're saying, oh, I would like to just remembered for being me, just me, unique, whoever this guy was, and I remember saying I would like to be inspiring, and I didn't know what I meant by that. Yeah. That's just what I felt, and I said it to these people who were, shining the light on me. What would you like to be remembered for? And that's what came out, and I didn't know what that meant, and it wasn't until years later where it almost seemed like it clicked a little bit. You're doing it, man. You're doing it right now, man. I would have never done this interview if it weren't for you guys. So. Yeah. So it just felt right. I wasn't thinking. That's the thing. Yeah. Whenever they asked me that question, I wasn't thinking about what I was saying. It just came out, and the YouTube thing. It was just, I tell Sean, it's like, oh, this is what I need to do. Yeah. I have to do this. I don't know why I have to do this. I need to make that connection. I need to inspire other people to do other things, and I want to talk to other people who are doing the same thing, that are taking these dives in life, and pioneering and finding their own way. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but our heart is kind of guiding the way. We say our heart, but it's just your passion. Intuition is just lighting the path. Yeah. And so that is what gets me going, and talking to people who are experiencing the same thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It gets me moving in the right direction, I think. Yeah. Well, we talk about inspiring people. Mike and his wife are definitely inspiring people. And what's Mike Rosas and Lydia Rosas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they're the ones who started Love Bot. They're the founders of the organization. So our goal in Colombia is 300 children. 300 children outside of Bogota and Soacha. Mm-hmm. Mike, he's an ambitious guy. He's already looking, where's the next place he's gonna go. You know what I mean? He's this guy's ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal at Love Bot is 1% of the world's population of orphans, to house them, which is 1.5 million kids, which is an extreme goal. Yeah, definitely. But there's always going to be naysayers. But 2.5 years ago, it was a piece of grass. What I mean, out there, and it's a beautiful. It's a piece of grass, and now it's an orphanage. Yeah. you showed me some of the pictures, and wow, just to think something.
Yeah.
That's another thing that really gets me going. It's just like you think something, and then 2 years, it's a reality.
Yeah.
It's moved from here to here. That to me is awesome. That's a really, really good feeling. So I'm sure he's excited about that.
Well,
and so what's the site that we can find if people want to donate and be a part of this and help out the cause? How would they?
So yeah, you can just check us out, www.lovebot.com. You can check out our Facebook, Instagram page. Just take a look at it and see what you think. We're always looking for people to become monthly donors. That's how we operate, is on donations. If you're interested in just a one-time donation, is something that you feel drawn to, we'd really appreciate any support that we can get. We'd like to encourage you to do that and challenge you to give as best as you can, because this is going towards. We don't take any 100% of the donations go towards the children and meeting their needs. So
okay,
we don't take a penny from that. It's totally nonprofit. It's a 501c3. At the end of the year, you'll get a tax deductible statement. So.
Okay, Matt. So we talked about you, where you're at in life, the volunteering, your work, what it means to you. We talked about Mike. Is there any final thoughts? Is there anything that the viewers have to know?
Yeah, I would just like to encourage you guys to be the change by making the biggest difference in these children's lives. Visit us at www.lovebot.com. I think with all the negativity today and all the things you see on TV and the media, I see the polarizing of the left and the right, and I think it's a classic example of divide and conquer, divide and rule. And I believe as human beings, we're stronger working together, and we can accomplish exceptional things if we all work together and have love in our hearts. So God bless you guys. Thank you, Justinspiretv, for letting me on the show. Sean, for your hard work. I really do appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you for coming on. I mean, this is what gets me going. The conversation, what you're doing, I love it. Creating something beautiful. He's absolutely right. We can do amazing things when we work together. Love in our hearts and our intuition guiding us through life. So you heard it from the man, Matt Arroyo. We'll put the links in the description. This is Justinspiretv. Remember, you are the warrior, you are the storm. We will fight and we will win. We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for watching.